everyone, it's Kelly from Kelly's Bead Boutique. So I've been making and teaching how to make jewelry for a very long time. And one of the comments that I always hear is, you make it look so easy. Well, I think it is, and I want to show you just how easy it can be. So I'm going to take some simple parts and some simple techniques and put them together and teach you how to make your very own jewelry. If you want to see what I'm making today, come and join me. Okay, so do you ever go shopping and you find that perfect necklace for the outfit that you're going to wear out, and then you go, oh my gosh, I'm not paying $39. Well, I'm going to show you how to make your own fashionable chunky chain necklace for super cheap. So today we're going to be starting with some vegan suede. I also have some of these oval silver rings, and I have some smaller sort of textured organic looking round rings. I also have some jump rings, and I think these ones are about a 16 gauge, and they're about an 8 millimeter on the outside. I have a lobster clasp, a couple cord ends, some small jump rings, and a closed ring. And for tools, we're just going to be using our chain nose pliers and our bent chain nose pliers. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is start opening up some of our jump rings. And I like to take my chain nose pliers on one side and my bent chain nose pliers turned over on the other, and that gives me lots of surface area, and I'm just going to open up. And now I'm just going to simply place one of my long rings and one of my round rings together, and then I'm going to do these back up. So I just sort of twist together and then I jiggle until it kind of snaps in there. And now I'm going to repeat a couple more times. You could just put one jump ring in there, but one of the things that I feel when you're making jewelry is what can you do to make it look just that much better? And I feel like by adding multiple jump rings on here, it gives it that sort of more, what I'm going to do, air quotes, high-end look, is by adding these 3 jump rings. And you'll see what I mean in a second here once I get that done up. So just kind of jiggle that around. And now you can see that adds kind of that nice finish on there. It just makes it look a little more intentional, a little bulkier, and it looks like it fits better with the size of those rings. So that's why I went with 3. So now I'm going to repeat. I'm going to open up a jump ring, put it through the long one, and I'm going to add one of these on there. And I'm just going to keep repeating until I've run out of rings and jump rings. And so I want to start with my long one and end with a long one. So I'm going to continue along doing this process until I'm finished. So I'm just going to pop that in there and jiggle back and forth. You always want to get your jump rings done up nice and tight. If you don't do them up tight enough, they're going to have like a little burr on the end, and that can get caught in things, or your hair can get caught. So you want to make sure that you're closing up your jump rings nice and snugly. So get that in there and tighten that up, and you just kind of jiggle back and forth. And now you can see we've got the beginnings of our chain. So I'm just going to sort of finish that along. Oh, one thing that actually just happened that I want to make sure I can point out is you see how this jump ring is kind of sticking up? That's because there's like a perfect place where it doesn't fit, and that would be right there. So all I have to do, if you get like where it gets kind of stuck, is just rotate it till because this has got like an organic sort of shape to it. It's not perfectly round. So I just kind of pop it around until it gets to the thinner side, and then it'll have lots of free movement. So I'm going to just continue adding my jump rings and my rings until I have my chain made, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now you can see we've got our completed length of chain. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a super long one. You could just keep adding. These parts are going to be available in our $5 finding, so they're really affordable to make. I think you get like 10 of these rings in each, so you could make it longer, but for our purposes today, we're just going to be making it this length. So this will be available in kit form, and you'll have a few different choices of vegan suede. Today, I think this is our coconut brown. So I've got a 35-inch piece that I've cut in half. And so now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I sort of even them up on the ends. And I'm going to run it down so that I get a nice little loop there. I'm going to take that loop and I'm going to place it down through the end there. And then I just sort of spread it with my fingers a little bit. And then I'm going to run this through. And that's going to create our lark's head knot. So then I just kind of tighten it up. And then I'm going to run it down to the end there. And once I have my ends, I'm just going to match them up and trim that off. So I just want to make sure that these are sort of lined up on either end. So now I'm going to repeat on the other side, and I want to make sure that I have it going the exact same direction. So I find the easiest way to do that is to lay that flat so I know where I'm starting from. So even them up on the ends, run my fingers down, create my loop, put that loop down through the ring, and then bring it down through that loop. And then I just kind of pull tight. You don't want to pull so tight that you could break it, but we're just going to do that. Now, this is going to be quite long. This is, we've got 35 inches here, so it ends up like 17.5 on either side. You can cut this down to however you like. I designed it so that it's meant to lay just sort of on the lower part of your collarbone, but I kept it long so that if you've got a little bit heavier neck, you can wear this easily, or if you have a thinner neck or you want to wear it in a different place, you can just trim this off. You can also add a chain extender on the back if you wanted to do that. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this one up because I haven't done that one yet. So trim that off. All right, now we're going to put on our ribbon ends. And these are just a little 5mm ribbon end. And what I'm going to do is make sure those are even. And then I place it over top. And I kind of want to situate it first. Get it where I want it. And I'm holding it actually with this finger behind. I want to sort of keep it where I want it there with that finger. And then I come in over top with my pliers and give that a little squish. And you can see that just went on there perfectly. And so now I'm just going to squish it on either side. Now, I've never had one of these come undone. I suppose you could use glue, but I don't worry about it. So I'm going to run my fingers down to make sure that there's no twists or turns. And I'm going to place my little ribbon end on top. And I get it sort of situated again where I want it. That looks pretty good. I'm sort of holding it with both fingers there. And then I pull my finger back and then crimp it down. And if it moves around, just reposition it and then give it a squish. Now you don't want to squish up top because you don't want to damage the sort of neck of the ribbon end. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do is I like to make sure that I am putting on the lobster clasp in the right direction. So I like to have this on the outside. So if I turn it over, you can see that's sort of what looks like the back side to me. So in order to make sure that I'm putting my necklace on the right way, I position it as though I was wearing it. So I'm going to be wearing it like this on the outside. So I'm going to lay it down. Now I want to place my lobster clasp on the right hand side because I'm right-handed, and I just find it a lot easier to do my lobster clasps up if I have it on the right hand side. So the first thing I want to do is open up one of my small jump rings. I'm just going to do a twist like that, and then I'm going to run it through the end. And now I'm going to take another small jump ring and open that up and put it through the other jump ring and put the lobster clasp through there. Now the reason that I'm doing it this way is if I was to do it without the extra jump ring, the lobster clasp would sit the wrong way. So I'll show you at the end what I mean by that. And now on this end, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a small jump ring and I'm going to open that up, run it through the cord end, and I'm going to put my closed jump ring on there. And then I'll explain all the mechanics of this in 1 second. All right, so now we've got our completed piece. So that's what it would look like on the outside, and I have my lobster clasp coming on this end. Now, if I wasn't putting that extra jump ring on, you can see that it would lay this way, and so it would go on wrong. So I want to make sure that I'm always following the direction that my jewelry should be going. And on this end, I had to add my closed jump ring. I find it a lot easier to do a closed jump ring for a couple reasons. One, I think it looks nicer. It gives it that sort of finished look. If I was just to take that off and have that little tiny jump ring, well, it gets really hard to put a lobster clasp in there. So now I can just open up my lobster clasp and it just pops in there and it gives it a really nice finished end. So there you go, there's our completed necklace. I really love how this one turned out. It really just is a building block for any kind of necklace you want to make. You could add a focal bead down here, you could add dangles all the way around, you could add things in between. It really is just one of those things that you can build on. But I think it looks really fabulous just the way it is. It's that simple, basic necklace that you can wear with everything. So this will be available in kit form, and you'll get to pick out the color of vegan suede. Now, on one of my last videos, I used the term vegan suede because what else am I going to call this? It's not a leather product, and I have many people that like non-leather products. So I've had a few people leave me snarky messages saying there's no such thing as vegan suede. Well, I know that, but what else am I going to call it? So if you don't like what I call something, just continue scrolling by. Please don't stop by and leave me a snarky message, because I'm going to block you and delete you, because you know what? The trolls have been in full force lately. So please don't leave comments that are rude. Think about things before you comment. It seems to be a thing that's going on right now on social media, and I'm not having it. So anyway, for the rest of you that leave me fabulous comments, I love you and I thank you very much. So if you did enjoy this one, please make sure to leave me a comment. Make sure it's nice. Give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so. I want to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.